Hey, thanks for clicking onto this video. I'm going to make just building a room presence mini chat application. We're going to be using WebSockets or Socket.io to do this. And this is because I'm building on top of a bigger project and it needs WebSockets. So the original project I wanted to do required WebSockets. It needs an open connection so that when multiple users are on the screen, we can see them, and then I could do what my goal was with that project. In trying to do that, I made a video yesterday where I couldn't figure it out, so I worked with AI to get it done, and by the end of it, I still didn't feel like I understood it. So this video will be going line by line, setting up this application with AI to see if I could better understand what the heck that was. Now, the idea of WebSockets wasn't confusing. It's more, and this has been the hardest part for me, it's more the balance of when I'm still learning JavaScript and trying to mix it with all these libraries and frameworks and understanding when to use them. And I think up until this project, I was thinking that you could choose maybe a certain stack. I've heard that term before, and build apps that way. But right away, React and Next had issues with the Socket.io. And I don't feel like I understood why. AI is telling me that maybe making the project with something like a framework called Vite and another framework called Express would be easier to do. So I'm hoping that in this chat application here, we can maybe get a better understanding why those things are, and also open up my mind to thinking, okay, each project that will actually be the first choice that we need to figure out what works best, what frameworks are going to be useful, what are we going to need, how to do that. So not to make this any longer, let's go ahead and get into this. I already have the initial explanation, and I'm going to try to cut this up so you guys can really get an understanding of how to build this. So if you watch this video, you will at least be able to build this chat app with me. Now, when I say I'm going to be using AI, I'm also going to try to make it as manual as possible because I think that's where my disconnect is. I have built these things already. I have them working. I was able to get a connected status working. But after I sat back and looked at it, I still didn't get like what was going on. So let's try to get that figured out now. So let's go through this together. This is a better learning demo than a basic chat app because it teaches connection lifecycle, room membership, shared state snapshots, real-time events, reconnection behavior. It is still much smaller than a full collaborative canvas. Cool. So what we're going to be doing, target architecture. So we're going to have apps, web app. So we're going to be using Next.js, React, and TypeScript for the UI and socket client. So that's going to basically be our UI stack of technologies that we're using. Next is our router, React is our UI, TypeScript will be the language that we're using. Apps real time. So these are directories, right? This is how it's wanting me to set up the directories. We're going to be using Node to get access to the actual user computer. Socket.io, which is not technically a WebSocket. A WebSocket is what actually opens a connection between a user, a real-time connection between user and the server. Socket.io is a library or framework. I'm going to use those interchangeably. Correct me every time I'm wrong, but a library seems to be something that just allows you to call methods with no opinion. It's like, hey, here are all these things, you could call them. And a framework seems to give an opinion. It will give you a structure of how to set up the application. It will bring in a bunch of files. Like when you start a React app, it gives you the file structure. It lets you use Tailwind automatically. Those kinds of things. Those are opinions, and that seems to be the difference between frameworks. Go is a framework because it does stuff for you automatically. So it's not always a WebSocket. It actually will do HTTP polling as well, which is kind of what you do when you normally try to visit a website. And the reason it's doing this is because it chooses speed over connection. So instead of waiting till you do establish a WebSocket connection, it will connect like a normal website first if it needs to, and then establish a WebSocket connection after the fact. So that's what Socket.io is. When we're using TypeScript, again, we're going to be using TypeScript with the whole package because I am trying to practice TypeScript now, even though I said 2 videos ago I was not going to do that. Okay, so what to doctor? I mean, real production, it prevents coupling, front end, built in runtime. So that's another thing. I think the biggest confusion I was having here as well is apparently you can use frameworks like Next that does routing to design the UI, and then use other frameworks to set up the apps. I don't know if it does actually. I just read it and it doesn't seem. I guess we are using Node and Socket, but a lot of the tutorials were wanting me to use Express. Okay, so we're gonna stop here real quick because the biggest thing I'm getting confused about is all these frameworks and libraries. So it's saying workspace structure. So I have the chat here, and after reading the MD, I'm currently on step 1. I want to go over the workspace structure because I have actually only mostly been using the React app to create a React app to get file structures, and I've never created a custom one. So how will that work if I'm using Next and React? Do I not create an app, or should I just follow apps web, apps real time, package shared? Is there no issue doing that? Okay, so it's saying it's that simple that I don't need to overthink it. So I think what I'm going to do is let's keep this open. Let's grab this. Okay, so what is this going to be? This is where we're going to view the file. So just go here. We'll keep this open like this, and then we'll go back over here, and this is where we'll do everything. Okay, so what we need is it wants me to make a directory called socket. Actually, I already did. I already created that, so we'll go back. So we got docs, git. Okay, perfect. And yes, cool. Okay, so make apps. You know what? We'll just go into it now and do everything else from here. So we got apps. So we're gonna go web, and then real time. And then it looks like we're gonna have packages, and then shared. Okay, perfect. For step 1, do this: create apps and packages folder, scaffold next inside apps web. So inside here, so we want to create the app within apps web. Okay. Quit. Just quit. LL. Cool. So we'll go apps, cd web. All right, so we're in apps web, and we want to go mpx create next app latest. Why is it doing that? Dash. Oh, it looks like, I wonder, does this like automatically make it TypeScript? Let's see what it does. I'm intrigued. It is going to call socket demo. Use ESLint. Would you like to use the React compiler? Usually, no. Tailwind, yes. Would you like your code inside? No. Would you like to use app router? You know what? I want to make sure that this is the setup. I usually have my setup, but I kind of want to doing a bunch of double checks right now. So it's actually, are these correct, or how do I want to set this up? Close, but one thing is off. Because you're already in Socket Demo Apps Web, naming the project element will create a nested folder, which you don't want. Use one of these. Best cancel and run from the repo root. C to quit that. That's cool. That's good to know because I didn't know I could cancel. So move apps web real time. Web real time. All right, so it's just, yeah, not even worth it. So I think what it wanted was, yeah, it wants it in here. So cool. Okay. I don't know why, but I want to go in there and do it from there. MPX. And then what we want to do here is put a period, dash dash TS, because it'll scaffold it apparently. Okay, and then what we want to do is go back up to the previous answer where it told me. So we want to say yes to ESLint. Let me put this to the side real quick. Yes to ESLint. No to React compiler. It says no to Tailwind, but I'm going to add it because I do enjoy it. Directory, no, we don't want that. I don't really like it either, actually. App router, yes, apparently. Okay. Would you like to customize? No. It already has the default. Cool. Okay. So where are we now? Cool. So we created all this. Let's go back to the MD and see what's next. All right, so we created the folder structure. Oh, wait. Did we create packages shared? No. I don't know where we're at. Okay, so we need packages. And then we need shared. Shared supposed to be, yeah, it's supposed to be a folder. Cool. Now we have everything correct. So I think packages is just where we're gonna have our typing system for TypeScript, if I'm correct. Okay, cool. So got that. Who handles infrastructure, project structure? What, why makes boundaries explicit from day one? So when I do these things too, I always try to get to do them in a more production style way, in a way that I would do it with real projects I was going to release. Because now in this AI world, I think it's going to be the biggest thing to learn is going to be how to set up correct architecture, how to set up correct logging, error handling, that kind of stuff, and always creating even in these mini applications, create that structure so you get easier so it gets easier to build real apps if you want to tell AI to do it. Okay, so we need to define these things now. I am gonna try, but what's it called? The reason I'm gonna try is because I did basically see something that explained this in my research yesterday. Okay, so let me see here. Let's try type. There we go. Okay, types for the server. So there was this like TypeScript thing for this, and this is actually very similar to what it's asking for over here. File, and we are making server. We'll call it server types for now. Okay, cool. And then let's go back here. So we want client to server events, and that is basically client to server event, server to client event. Client to, oh, here. So, okay, so the interface. Client to server, server to client events. This one has that. And I don't get it. So hello will return a void function. So it's going to do something. Does it show? And then our new server will have all. Okay, so I'm thinking like, so if you see how it's used here, socket. So socket. Where's the connection? So we don't have a connection thing. That might be something else. But it says socket on hello. So it's almost like it's calling this as a function, like the hello, and it's allowing us to do whatever action we're wanting to do. So let's actually confirm this with ChatGPT. Okay. Oh, let's actually cancel that and let's copy this and let's go back here. Server to clients defines events the server emits and the client listens to. Client to server events define events that the client emits and the server listens to. Each key is an event name, and the value is the listener function signature for that event. Okay, so I was right. So they are using those things as keys to call the values. Okay, so we're making client to server circuit. Okay. So let's get these two things here. Since we're basically going to be, and I guess it asking, because I'm like that, it asks for it like this. So I'd rather have it like this. And we'll put one line in front because I don't want it at the top. All right, so client to server. Let's think about this. Let's think this is use the brain, the worst thing ever. And I think it kind of messed up here because it's definitely, I think this is what we'd want. So we are going to use these. And then going based off this, it looks like if someone joins the room, all we're going to want to do is just return a function. So we'll just do void like that. And we'll just keep going. I think for most of these, they'll be very similar. Possibly. Because basically, it's just we need to think about server to clients. Presence. I feel like what that means is what that means is presence snapshot. It just takes a snapshot of the user information, basically. Okay. Joined, which is weird, but I guess, yeah, we would send that information from the server to the client. Again, void. We're just going to start like that for now. The reason I'm not doing any of the user move stuff is because I think it's taking a little bit too much from my original idea. or I think this did mention present, so but we'll do it part and part. We'll first get the messaging stuff working. We'll first even try to get any of this to do something before we start worrying about that. Because then if it's like a presence thing, I can start to think through that myself once I figure out these. Okay. Now the other thing it wanted was user presence and chat message. Okay. So user presence, and then what was the other one? Chat message. I want to put parens there so bad. All right, and here, user presence, we're going to have an ID, which will be a number, and then a name, which will be a string. I don't know if that's correct. Would we need a function to detect their presence? Maybe something like that. Most likely. Good thing is we can add it. And then chat message will also give it an ID, which is going to be a number. It's going to have the message, which will be a string. I don't know if we would want that to be an array or not. And yeah, I don't know. So, all right, so we're going to create a node server now. So basically, with Next and React, we can't have that server running all the time. But with the apps Realtime, we'll be able to create something that's a node server that's just consistently running. I'm trying to think, should I ask if I did these correct or not? I think I'm going to hold off on asking that for now because I think playing around with actually testing, okay, I have the server set up, if I can even do that, and then I have my client to server events. Let me try that. And in playing with that, I think I'll be able to understand how to make them a little bit better. So, and we have a bunch of examples here. So if we go back to here, I think it gives like a, so we can create a server with const.io server and giving it those types. But that's not it. Right, so server. Yes, so we will need to install this, the socket.io, which I forgot about, but we do need to do that. Ooh, they do have a way, they do explain it in TypeScript, not initialized. Okay. What is, okay. Once you've installed the socket.io server library, you can now init the server. The complete list of options can be found here. For TypeScript users, it is possible to provide type hints for the events. Please check this. Okay. So standalone, I see. So we have a standalone. So we can import the server from socket.io. We can create a new server. And then on connection, socket. Cool. Everything always leaves this empty. Give me one example, please. One damn example. What could be in there? Okay. So it does not show me. Okay, so all it does, the one I think I'm going to use here is standalone. Let's see what it's told us here. Just name it server.ts, which is, oh, What did I do? I've messed up. How do I do this? Okay. What the heck? When did I do that? What did it want originally? Let's take a look. Yeah, so it wanted in this other. I am a fool. Okay. So yes, that should be removed now, and then we shall, yes, delete that. So perfect. Okay, that's what we wanted. So now in real time, if we go back down all the way here, this is where we'll do cool. And then we have to actually install this. Where are we? Okay. That's not even worth it. I was gonna ask, so what is it gonna make right now? But we can just find out. Okay, npm init. So it says dash yes because we're just gonna accept everything as it is. So, and in order to create that, we can do npx, which is the most annoying thing in the world. Why is there npm and npx? Why not just make them all npm? TypeScript dash dash init. See what that does. Yes. What the heck? I'm being hacked. This is not the TypeScript command you're looking for. We're having cool anime Luffy shirt today. I do not watch anime. I'm a poser, but this is a sick shirt. So how was I not supposed to buy it? Look at the back. Look at the back. It has like something cool happening on the back. I know you're jealous. That long conversation, we are just gonna do the whole thing because yeah, at this point, why not? We will need to do it anyways. So okay, solid-d TypeScript, badam, and then we're gonna do. You see npm and npx all at once. T dash dash init. Beautiful. We got most of the stuff we needed here. Types no. So we got our dev dependencies set up exactly how we wanted it. Great. This thing, cool. And that stuff. Okay. Now we have server TS. Okay. Oh, yeah. We have to import this. Okay. That doesn't seem good. Oh, I think I ran the run. I think it's supposed to be install and then check your version. There we go. Don't know why that keeps happening. Don't know why that keeps happening. What? Oh, install a specific version. I see. So Okay. And then that like that. Cool. All right, so we are doing a new server. Again, it's not telling us if we need a function here or anything. Like, it would make sense that this should be within a function. Because, but this is just a normal file. So maybe it doesn't need to be wrapped within a function because we were just writing everything out here. It doesn't seem to be complaining about this, so it does seem to be finding those somewhere. And then okay, so 7%. I'm going to click here, and we'll keep moving on in a moment and start out with trying to understand these things.